gorgeous. I'm putting my bike together. Brandon! I thought he was like a BMXer. Now we ride. All right, let's go! Oh my gosh! I feel like I'm flying. The industrial park is probably not the best place to be doing this, but there's big trucks, and there's big trucks, and there's big trucks. And Brandon, was it your job to do the brakes? Brandon, the brakes. Well, it's been a minute since I did that. If you need a tutorial on how to put your bike together after traveling, go look at YouTube, because clearly that's not my job. But now we're ready for bike riding, so I'm ready when you're ready. Everybody. Rob, Brandon, cycling. Okay, look at the camera. I got that. All right, so the first video that I'll tell you about is one that is very confidential. I mean, very confidential. We only shot it this week, and you're not allowed to tell anybody. Well, you wouldn't be, except it's already been released this week. It was a very quick turnaround, and it's a big announcement that's really exciting. Now, you know the Catholic University of America. It's in Washington, D.C. You've all been to the big Basilica Shrine in D.C. That's it. That's the same school. They're getting a new president, and he worked just up the street from us at Illinois Tech, and his name is Peter Kilpatrick. Now, when you walk onto a set, whether it's a big set or a small set, especially if you're the talent like he was, it can be a little bit intimidating or disorienting. There's lots of people kind of doing different things. Usually you have somebody escorting you and taking care of you and telling you what to do. But Peter Kilpatrick, when he got onto set, he made a point of going to every single person, no matter who they were on set and what they were doing, shaking their hand, introducing himself, and asking for their name. And we just really noticed how friendly he was and what it says about who he is, that he took the time to do that, especially when you're about to be interviewed, maybe a little bit nervous. So knowing even that little bit about him and having that experience with him makes me even more excited to see what he's going to do in his role as the new president of CUA. So you'd recognize a deacon from some of the things. You know, at Mass, they would be wearing, instead of a stole that comes down their front, they would wear one to the side, and they often proclaim the gospel or preach a homily. So you might have a permanent deacon at your church, or you might not. So a permanent deacon is a man, sometimes married, sometimes unmarried, who has a very particular role in ministry within the church. And what we don't often see is that there's a big formation program behind the scenes. These are not just men who are kind of like dropped into the position, but men who go through a lot of formation, a lot of discernment, a lot of training. So that they can exercise their ministry fully. So the Diocese of Austin has this incredible formation program for men studying to become permanent deacons. They came to us and wanted to help out with one of these retreats and film it. It was really cool to film because basically the crew shows up in the morning, they film some of the guys going through the formation program, and then after dinner, later in the evening, they have a holy hour at the cathedral, and then they just walk out of the cathedral and they approach people who are in downtown Austin on a Saturday night and start up conversations. In this situation, they were inviting them to experience healing ministry. So you can imagine all these men, they're in this formation program, they've just learned about it that day, and then they're invited to be bold and be courageous and to go and start up conversations and practice this ministry. So the goal of the Diocese of Austin was to share the experience of these retreats and this training and this ministry that has been really fruitful and powerful for them, to share that with other dioceses around the country in case other formation programs want to take a similar approach. And success. Other dioceses are contacting them and talking to them about the program. This is a really good example of, yes, we're a video production firm, but we're not here to make videos for the sake of making videos. And the Diocese of Austin, it was never about that for them. There's fruit that's coming from their video, which is exciting for them, and it's also really exciting for us. We want to make videos that have more of a purpose than just being beautiful, but that's still really important. Now this one we've been holding on to for a while. It's a whole series of videos that we made for the Council of Christian Colleges and Universities, the CCCU. It's a series of student profiles. Now, some you might not know, but some you would. If you've heard of the book, The Hate U Give, by Angie Thomas, we got to spend time with her and interview her. And she's somebody who a lot of people have heard about, but might not know that she attended a Christian college and university. These student profiles are meant to showcase people who have graduated from these colleges and universities and gone on to really contribute to society. And that's the important thing about these schools, is that a solid Christian education at any of these colleges or universities can make a big difference in forming a young person to go on and contribute to society. And you can see in these student profiles how that often bears fruit in years to come. You know, this shoot was big, and it had a lot of different people and a lot of different locations, different schools were involved, all of that sort of thing. And so there was variety and uniqueness to each of the shoots, and that was really important. But it was also really cool to see the through lines with the separate students. In all of these student profiles, their faith was something that was important to them then and is important to them now. So for all of these people with all this different experience, God was still at the center of it for all of them. Now, I don't know whether it's considered cycling weather wherever you are. I mean, where I'm from, as soon as the salt from the snow is off the roads, it's cycling weather. But regardless, we're still in Lent. Easter is soon, and we're praying that all of you have a very blessed Easter season. No, that isn't correct at all. That's not what happened. I just started talking and words came out, but that's not at all what happened. Great. Mm-hmm.
Oh? So, they're like hipsters.
They were not hipsters.